today, Mickey?
Well, dude, I'm basically trying to do some fabrication. So, on my truck I have an LT4, and they have a heat exchanger and a water box that circulates water through the intercooler and keeps it cool. And before I had one tank underneath the hood for the intercooler, and then I had one tank under the hood for the meth injection. So I moved the two tanks to the rear of the truck where the old gas doors were, or where the old gas tanks were. And so I built the tanks, they're a mirror image of each other, and I waited until I had everything in there to figure out the vent system of how I'm going to vent the tanks. I have these little K&N filters, and I don't know where it went, but some barbs that weld on here, but like I don't have enough room to just like put it right here, something like that. There's not enough room under the bed to do that. And then also I don't want it splashing water out of the vent, because these are right in front of my rear tires. So I looked at doing like a remote deal where I came off the side, maybe mounted this like towards the inside part of the bed, like where the drive shaft would be. But then it would work on this tank, but the other tank is a methanol tank, and so if it vented the same way, I'm afraid the alcohol fumes will be too close to my exhaust that runs through there. So then I had to can that idea. Another way I've done it is I've ran a tube upside down through the inside to where it's like maybe an 1/8 inch off the top, and then put these on the bottom. The problem with that, then it's hanging under the truck and it's just going to catch dirt and sand and all that crap. So now where I'm at is like, this is the lid, so I don't figure much fluid will be getting up into here. So I'm looking at doing a channel on the side and drilling this, and then putting foam vent material down in there and doing it something like that. So here I got the other one mocked up on the truck, I can show you. This one will be the meth tank side. And what I'm wanting to do is just take this little half moon piece of aluminum, kind of slip it in there like that, and then this would be the highest point right here. So I don't think I would ever get any slosh coming out of there, and this filler would kind of act as a baffle when all the fluid's down in there. So I think if I just drilled some holes on the side of this filler, welded this down in there, it would ventilate through this port and not get any sloshing and stuff coming out. So that's what I'm looking at doing right now. I'm fitting it all up to make sure it's going to work. And then I have to weld a few more fittings on here. Well, this one is done. I have to weld a few more fittings on the meth tank for the sending unit and stuff like that on it. And then I'm going to take these and have them bed linered, because they will both condensate. This one will have, actually I made this a lot bigger than it needed to be so that I could shovel ice in there and use it as like a chiller. So this thing's going to be sweating and getting really cold, and it'll condensate. So I'm going to have it bed linered. And the other one's got methanol in it, and so it'll do the same thing. So I'm going to bed liner both of them. So I'm trying to get this done so I can get it over to Auto Accessories and have them sprayed. So just check in every couple minutes, and I'll be doing something different, I'm sure. But right now, this is the idea that I'm going with.
What do you got going on today?
Well, today we were working on battery cables, reran and hooked up to the battery, doing some tidy up work. Yesterday we managed to get all the water meth pump, the heat exchanger pump rewired up. Had to go through and make a new harness and reroute it from the back end of the truck up into the cab. Later today, I'll hook that up inside the cab to the water meth controller. Hopefully today we can get the rest of the battery cables made, get the battery tray put in, get the battery mounted, hook up all that, and get our inner fender set, and get this thing one step closer to being started, and you know, get it over to the alignment shop and take it for another maiden voyage. So stay tuned. Thanks. What's up, guys? Giving you a little update of what I've been working on today. I came in this morning and dropped in the starter and started rehooking up some of the battery cables and some of the sensor wires. Working on how we're going to be rerunning the battery cables from the starter to the alternator to the battery. While in progress of doing that, we used to have one of these circuit breakers mounted right here, which went to the fuel pump controllers in the back of the truck. We're having to relocate this because of the slosh tubs come around and then break under, and they were catching on the bolts holding this circuit breaker in place. So what I've been working on today is making a mount that mounts up here on the core support to attach this circuit breaker and two other separate circuit breakers for electric fans. We're almost there. I'm having to do a little bit of reworking of the wiring. Hopefully by tomorrow this will be all in place, all wired up. We can pull that bracket out, have it painted, and start working on some of the other wiring up here in the front of the engine bay, and just continue chipping away at this thing, getting it ready for the show. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We got more stuff coming for you. Thank you.
So earlier we were talking about the vents on the meth tank and the water tank. Well, on our gas tank we actually have 3 fuel pumps inside there. So I wanted to have a lot of ventilation for that tank because it's going to be sucking a lot of fuel. So we probably have pictures from before that Richie can post, but we basically tied the 2 -6 lines together on the top of the tank for the vent and wired it into a -12 and ran it up into this big canister style filter that we hid behind the taillight. That way we get plenty of vent for the fuel tank. I'm just putting it all together now, and then I'll put the taillight in here and cover it all up.
What have you got going on this side, Mickey?
Well, on this side, since we moved the fuel tank to the back, I didn't want to put a hole in my floor to fill the gas up, so I got one of these new LS Fab hidden gas doors. Basically you flip the taillight open and there it is. So I'm just installing all this and getting all the wiring routed and plugged back up.
None of this wiring looks factory. What are these connectors?
So these are called Deutsch connectors. We like using these better than like a weather pack. Just the way that they go together and the way they like plug in, they're just really tight. And these are a little bit more compact than like a weather pack connector. So this is what we use on most of our stuff that we want to plug and unplug.
What's this magnet here for?
So I did add this little magnet. Reason is because when this closes, I just like it to kind of snap
and hold itself rather than be sitting here shaking and rattling. And so that just kind of snaps it shut. Another thing that we modified is these come with a spring in the top that clamps it shut, but it just didn't quite hold it tight enough for me. So, and also it kind of had the tail light tilted like that because it was only pulling on one side. So I went in and added another tab to the bottom and bought another spring from them, and it made it to where now it actually pulls it square and closes it up with the same tension all the way down it. And then also having the second spring makes it to where it's just a lot tighter when it does close. Like before, it would almost just flop open, and I was afraid I would launch my truck real hard and this thing would just fly open on me. So I added the other spring. It's a lot tighter now, and it actually closes square now. You know, it's straight down now. So that's what I got going on this side. I know it's kind of boring, but so I'm gonna get these tied up in a way that I can open and close this without them getting snagged, and I'm probably gonna call it a day. So check you guys tomorrow.